All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications, upvote the video, comment, and all that would make us very happy. Also, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. It's the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On to get started today. I'm here with Bill Flowers, and before we get started, Bill, I think we need to take a little bit of a victory lap because all during the beginning of the football season, you mentioned that the offense didn't quite look right. And then at the end of the season, the offense didn't look right. It kind of feels like you were right all along.
Yeah, it was. You can kind of tell with the offense, the way that they were playing was they couldn't get the ball out of their hands. They couldn't make the quick throws. You had such a good running game. You weren't able to capitalize on it. And you just couldn't tell, was that the offensive coordinator position? He was just not calling the right plays. Is it the quarterback himself not being able to make the reads? You kind of and you didn't see much of a progression. So that's kind of what concerned me.
Yeah, and after what you saw the whole season, how would you rate that team? Whenever you look back and think of it, how do you describe that team?
Well, they have a dynamic run game. They definitely have. They were a 10 when it comes to the run game, but unfortunately, when you just didn't have a real passing game, it makes it really difficult to be able, like against State, to really run the ball well, to be able to do the things that you need to do. I think the big takeaway was Auburn when I think you ran 21 straight plays, run plays, and you're thinking, well, surely they've just worn them out, and they're going to be able to just to throw over the top, and they're going to be able to throw all over them, and they just couldn't. So I think that was indicative of the team. So I think that team last year, if you had to rate the offense, you would rate the offense as a 7 solely from the run game, maybe a 6 because that's all they had. So I think the slow kind of arduous rollout. Let's try to get this play action. Let's try to, trick people. You're not going to be able to do that consistently. You're going to have to be able to run the ball like you did, but then play action, get the ball out of your hand quickly, use the pass game as a run game, bring the safeties down when they do, hit it there. There were a lot of windows that he couldn't fit the ball into. There were a lot of plays at the end of the year where you saw the receiver at a 5-yard hitch. He just didn't see it quick enough. And by the time he did, it was over. It was too late. So I'm going to have to say that it's Dart, unfortunately. And, when I look at it, but I think he has a huge opportunity to show his progression, and I think he can. I mean, he has all the tools you could possibly want.
Yeah, well, that's a nice segue into my next thing. Spencer Sanders transfers in, a 4-year starter from Oklahoma State at quarterback. You have Jackson Dart back for year 2, and Walker Howard, who was a former 5-star, transferred from LSU. This feels like a competition that we had last year, but this year it's going to be on steroids. You think it might be something to what you're saying and something that Lane's saying, but hey, let's just populate this room, let the best man win, because you got Spencer Sanders, who stylistically is a different quarterback than Jackson Dart, even though statistically they're similar guys. And then you got Walker Howard, who is basically like a Matt Corral, Eli Manning style talent coming up through the wings. It almost like whenever Romero was the quarterback and there's Eli that's sitting on the bench and everybody knows that Eli is going to take over in just a second, that's kind of the role that Walker Howard has in the moment. What do you think about this quarterback room moving forward?
Well, I think the looking at looking at some of the highlights out of high school with Walker Howard, it looks like he's got the talent and ability to come in and play right away. When I and what I mean by that is getting the ball in and out of his hands. He threw hole shots, quick stuff. Um, I think this is really what this offense is really going to be predicated around. I think that if you look at Tua at the Miami Dolphins, and you saw how he could do the zone read, and you saw how he could get the ball out of his hands so quickly. That's what this offense is going to require, is being able to utilize the run, and then being able to utilize, hey, someone who can get the ball out of their hand quickly. And I think that all three quarterbacks have all the talent you could possibly ask for, but it's going to be are they going to modify the offense to be a little bit more let's make some more over the middle kind of short quick routes, or you can continue to play the offense you did last year where they were kind of long drawn out plays, and then here and there you have a hitch off of it. I think that's what's going to kind of tell what's going to happen, is by how they're going to modify the offense, and watching who gets the ball out of their hand the quickest. That's going to be the key.
Yeah, and obviously do not turn the ball over, because
Yeah.
both Spencer Sanders and Jackson Dart, like I said, they turn the ball over a bit too much. Whoever probably cuts down on that probably has a leg up on the job, and that even includes Walker Howard, I think.
No, I think realistically, you bring a kid in, like we have from Oklahoma State. I mean, the kid's a proven entity. You know what he can do. He did really, really, really well, and I think that you look at Kiffin and you're going, okay, you know what? I'm going to use him to press Dart. If Dart can't match that, then we know we at least have this guy to come in. Well, but let's look at Spencer Howard. Let's see how he plays. Okay, if we feel like he's even, if everybody's even, then you probably have to look at it and go, okay, you know what? We're probably going to go with the kid from Oklahoma State. I think that he's a proven entity. You know what he's going to do. You know he's consistent. And can Dart make that much of an improvement over from last year? But again, I think a lot of it has to do with the offense. I think there's a lot of offensive plays that it really wasn't fair. They didn't have a lot of real offensive route tree routes that I kept on barking about last year. And so when you're a quarterback, you want to get in rhythm. You want to have a 3-step drop, a 4-step drop. You want to be able to kind of get in a rhythm. If they can do that, I think it's going to allow all the quarterbacks to play really well. But that's my concern, is that if they continue to run what they've been running, and you don't get the ball out of your hand quickly, I think you're going to have to take Dart off the table, because he showed last year that it didn't work as well as they wanted to do. But you're bringing in somebody that is a true proven entity that has consistently done well. That I think Kiffin's got to be going, okay, well, in the back of my mind, this is the guy that's going to be a starter. And
Okay.
then you look at Spencer. You're going, okay, this is the guy that Walker Howard. This is the guy that we're gonna build off of.
Okay.
Eventually.
This just to let you know, I'm going to give you these perspectives and tell me if you agree with me. I think Lane Kiffin has two scenarios that he wants to play out in this football season. He either wants Jackson Dart to win the job, ball out, and go pro. He wants Spencer Sanders to just win the job, one of those two. He does not want Jackson Dart to win the job and be average. because I think they want Walker Howard to be the guy in 2024. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the first scenario you had is both win-win. I mean, if you have Dart, so you're saying that Spencer Howard, you're saying that
Spencer Sanders, the Oklahoma State guy.
Spencer Sanders. If that's the case, then Spencer Sanders, who's a proven entity, transferred to Ole Miss. I got a feeling that Kiffin, in the back of his mind, might want Dart to be the guy that just says, wow, this is the horse that I knew I had, and he's come into his prime. I think that's what he would like, and keep Spencer away from Auburn. But I just don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's done really well, who I think could thrive in this offense. I think he's the kind of guy that's going to be able to do the things that you need him to do, to minimize risk. I mean, Dart he really was slow on reading plays, and so I think that's going to be the key. Is how fast can he process? How fast can he get the ball out of his hands? They both can run, so I think that's gonna. I mean, this is the guy that Kiffin brought in, and he seems like a great kid. You want to see him do well, and so unless this kid from Oklahoma State is just absolutely lights out, consistently, putting the ball in place, getting out of his hands, that he will be the starter. And I think Dart will be the odd man out.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much, Bill. And thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. Make sure you check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. Everything you need to know about college basketball in one place. Plus, you can hear from big-name experts, insiders, coaches, and players. It's Locked On College Basketball, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Bill, thank you very much. I won't take up any more of your time. Hope everything's going well, and as spring's going on, I'm sure we're going to talk about this over and over again, bud.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Steven. Appreciate it, buddy.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.